Well, it looks like Marvel Studios has some really big plans for the Scarlet Witch in the MCU, and not just in the Multiverse Saga, but moving past it as well. The Scarlet Witch could have a pretty big role in the Mutant Saga, which is what we believe is coming after Avengers Secret Wars. It might not be called the Mutant Saga, but that is where our new X-Men team is going to come into play. And then we'll have the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and the X-Men finally all in one universe. And I know everybody is excited for that, and it looks like Marvel Studios is excited for Wanda to return and play a really big role, not only in the Multiverse Saga, but that saga as well. And when we hear that, I personally automatically think of her relationship with Magneto in the comics. If you are not a comic reader, at one point in time in the comics, it was revealed that Magneto was the father of the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And it was really awesome. Eventually they went to undo it, but who knows what route they're going to go down in the MCU, because they can do whatever they want. So the future with Wanda is really, really bright. And apparently we are going to get more spin-off series involving Wanda, plus that solo movie that everybody has been talking about. It's been rumored for a very long time now, and everybody's been really wanting it. And to top it all off, the Scarlet Witch herself, Elizabeth Olsen, has been doing a lot of interviews recently where she has talked about how she wants to return to play the Scarlet Witch. There are quite a bit of people out there that said Elizabeth Olsen does not want to return, and this might have been true kind of right after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because if you didn't hear, she was pretty upset with how they treated her character Wanda in that film, and that's not actually how she was supposed to be in that film. If we go back to when that movie was originally announced and was in development, it was originally supposed to be Scott Derrickson writing the film, who wrote the first Doctor Strange film. He directed it as well, and it was recently confirmed that when Marvel Studios and Scott Derrickson parted ways, the script got a huge overhaul. Marvel Studios brought in Sam Raimi and writer Michael Waldron, who wrote the Loki series, and they changed the plot from Wanda being a hero to Wanda being the villain. Originally, the plan was for Wanda to be a hero and help Doctor Strange defeat Nightmare, who was supposed to be the original antagonist of the film. However, when they came in and overhauled the script, they made her the villain, and she didn't really like this, and she's been pretty open about that recently. So yes, maybe at some point in time, a little after Multiverse of Madness came out, she was really upset with how they treated her character, and I think a lot of people were as well. And yes, maybe at that point, she didn't want to return. However, things have drastically changed since then, and it sounds like she's had a lot of talks with Marvel Studios. Now, of course, she's not coming out in these interviews and simply stating, hey, I'm gonna return. No way, she can't say that. But she is saying things like, and I quote, "I would like to be undead. I would beg to leave a window open. I would like to be alive." End quote. And she's done a lot of interviews where she's said very similar things like this. And she just said that on an interview with Jimmy Kimmel. So she said that very publicly on a show that millions of people watch. Plus, not to mention, in the very first episode of Agatha All Along, there was that one moment where Agatha, or Agnes, asks Herb if she really is dead, referring to Jane Doe, the unidentified corpse that they found. And Herb said, oh, she sincerely is dead. But then Agatha said, you never really know. And she winked at Herb. And again, they are talking about the corpse, which was confirmed to be the Scarlet Witch. Now, that was all in Agnes's head. There was no real corpse of the Scarlet Witch. And even Kevin Feige himself said that if you look at when the mountain, Wundagore Mountain, is falling on top of the Scarlet Witch, you can see a red light flash. And that was him basically hinting at us that she is not dead. And now we have a new report that not only is she not going to, if she's dead, remain dead, but if she's not dead, if she's been alive this entire time, she'll be returning. Almost a week ago, the insider Daniel RPK stated that the Scarlet Witch film is not expected to start filming anytime soon, but it is indeed in development. And then today, the insider My Time to Shine Hello came out and stated, Marvel Studios has big plans for Wanda / the Scarlet Witch, which does include a solo movie, 2 more WandaVision spin-off series, and giving her a major role in the next Avengers films and the Mutant Saga, which is huge. But let's talk about this in different parts. One is the solo Scarlet Witch movie. I feel like we do need this film, especially if they're going to really explain that Wanda is not dead. or if she is somehow dead and they plan to bring her back to life, which is something that they do in Marvel Comics all the time. Nobody is really ever truly dead in the comics. Maybe they'll do that in the MCU as well. We'll need a whole movie explaining how exactly that happened. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and just simply say that she's not dead. She is the Scarlet Witch. She is possibly the most powerful being in the main 616 universe. I personally never thought she was dead at the end of Multiverse of Madness. I always assumed that she just simply teleported somewhere, or maybe took herself to a different realm. But like Kevin Feige said, there was a red flash, and I assumed that that was her leaving and not being crushed. Now, the Darkhold is destroyed, but I don't think Wanda is destroyed, and I think a lot of people think that she is alive as well. But regardless, we do need a solo Scarlet Witch movie because one, yes, it would really wrap up this story or continue the story and show us that she's not dead or that she has returned, but two, she definitely deserves this movie. The Scarlet Witch has been an incredible character in the MCU. She's an incredibly important character in Marvel Comics, and I do believe she can be insanely important moving forward. And Elizabeth Olsen has done an incredible job playing the character, so she deserves a solo movie. But three, we do need to keep up with some continuity in the MCU regarding the Scarlet Witch and the WandaVision trio series. And that's the next part I want to address. It has been confirmed that Vision Quest would conclude the Westview trilogy, which started with WandaVision, is continuing right now with Agatha All Along, and apparently will conclude with Westview. However, that doesn't mean they can't do more spin-offs for WandaVision. In fact, it does sound like Marvel Studios has pretty big plans for Wanda to reunite with her family. We are pretty sure, in fact, everybody pretty much knows by this point, that the character Teen in Agatha All Along is Billy, aka Wiccan. This is Wanda's son in the comics, and in the comics, yes, she does have her children. She loses them to Mephisto, which we're going to talk about this week, but then they're reincarnated and eventually reunite with her mother. So we believe that Teen is Billy. Also, in the other WandaVision spin-off series, Vision Quest, there's another character labeled Teen. We believe that this is going to be Tommy, aka Speed, Wanda's other son, and of course, Vision is coming back, and the show is reportedly going to be about Vision getting his complete memories back, essentially becoming the old Vision that Wanda knew. So Wanda's whole family is finally going to be back and real, not ones that she simply created. So it all does really look like it's leading to a reunion for Wanda, Vision, and her two children. That could happen in a solo movie, but that could also happen in two spin-off series. And those spin-offs could happen in the next saga. And that brings in the mutants, and like I mentioned, Magneto. If this is really building up to Wanda having a family and Wanda finally getting what she wants, perhaps they could go down a route where Magneto is her father. In the comics, she believes that she has parents, and then it's revealed that Magneto is her true father. They could go down this route as well in the MCU, and they could even bring back Quicksilver. If the MCU is truly doing a soft reboot after Avengers Secret Wars, it would be pretty easy to keep Wanda, bring her into the new universe, and in that new universe, where the X-Men now are, bring back her brother Quicksilver. Then she would have really her entire family. She would have Vision, her two children, she would have her brother back, and she would have her father, Magneto. And it sounds like Marvel Studios was kind of thinking about this before in Multiverse of Madness, as we heard that there was a cut scene in Multiverse of Madness where Magneto would actually be a part of the Illuminati. And according to reports, he was actually supposed to be Wanda's father of that 838 universe. Now, obviously that was scrapped and we never got that in the film. However, it does mean Marvel Studios was at least thinking about doing this. And perhaps they are still thinking about doing this in the solo Scarlet Witch movie or in the next saga, where the mutants and Magneto would come into play. So it really is kind of a great time for the Scarlet Witch right now because there is just so much potential. Elizabeth Olsen has been talking about how she would love to return. She begs to be undead. She begs to still be alive and a window to still be open for her to return. Many different insiders, reliable insiders, have stated that yes, a solo Scarlet Witch movie is coming, and it really would just be fantastic to have Wanda in the next saga and to get more of her, because I think that she's a character that many people really love. But go ahead, let me know all of your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Do you like where this is going? Do you want a solo Scarlet Witch movie and more spin-offs? And after the reboot, when the X-Men come, would you like to see the story of Magneto being her father or not? Let us know in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all things in the MCU. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.